Hello, all who are watching, either in the voice call or through the recording. Me and Jamarcus have prepared a Draft League School Night to teach you guys a little bit about King's Court Pokemon Draft League and Draft League in general. So, if you have any questions for those in the voice call, please save them for the end. But hopefully we can answer all of them. So yeah. Anyways. So first things first. In where you're gonna find like all of the King's Court Pokemon Draft League docs, they're not here exactly yet, just as of yet. I left. Oh my god. Sorry. So if you look in docs, you will see like all the Season 7 docs and they're listed out here. We'll probably get them out a little bit before the draft. A couple days is what we're aiming for. But all the drafts will be there. Give me 1 second here. I forgot to stream in Discord. Sick. Because I left. Awesome. Okay. So, thank you. So, all the docs will be here, laid out for, your express purpose. We have the channels and roles. You have the channels and roles. You can browse the channels and find out any, anything that you need to find out here. I'll look under, check just pretty much like almost everything under important that you guys have access to, and you guys can have it all access here. And yeah, like I said, the main thing, all your docs will be here. But starting off, we'll have this Season 7 standard like seasonal doc. This is the doc where you're going to have all your rules. You can read through them. The rules aren't updated as of yet, so that's why the docs aren't out. But we will have them updated and finished, and you can read through them once we post them. We have a badge system, which is just like a little achievement system. If you play multiple seasons in King's Court, you can get badges. Some of them are hidden. They're just like little achievements. You can see them here. You can find your name and see who has what on the coach's crown. And you can track your achievements. Damn, Jamarcus, you got so many, bro. My bad, bro. And you can you can see that there. Next up, we have the Hall of Fame in the seasonal doc, or the seasonal doc. You can go through and see the drafts of like which team and who won each season. Some say Season 3 should have been me, but it is what it is. Anyway, moving on.
No one says that.
Yeah, shut up, man. Anyways, moving on. Next up, you have the main doc of your division. So going back here, obviously, you're either in Splash Zone for singles. VGC docs aren't done yet, so that's why we're not showcasing them, but we're currently working on them. But obviously for VGC, you'd be in Roaring Rapids or Lazy River. For singles, you're going to be in Splash Zone, Wave Pool, or Deep End. I don't believe we do have new players in Splash Zone as well, of course, so there's that. But you're going to find your seasonal doc or your division doc also under docs here. And if you open that up, you can see your division manager. So if you have any questions on who to contact for, if there's like an issue on the doc or reporting needs to be updated, anything of the sort, you can message this person down here as your division manager. They're the first person to contact you go to. Other than that, you can go to the functionalities of the doc. We have the Slims tab, which breaks down the teams of each of the people. Wow, okay, it's a bit messed up right now. But the teams of each person, just real quick in a nice little, slim format. There you go. Tells you which Terra types, which mons can Terra, how many points they are, how many points remaining, etc. So there's that. Coach ID. Jamark built out this little handy dandy Coach ID if you want to get to know the trainers any better. I believe you'll ask for quotes. What was mine? Let's not actually. So let's get Jamark's. Jamark's, you can see his record, his team acronym. He gave you a quote. You can see the team, the stats of the Pokemon. You can go through the Pokemon there. Types and everything, all of his badges and everything too. You can see his win losses, etc. Here, so just a neat little coach ID. I think you want to look through that. This is the main roster page. This is gonna be updated. It's not gonna look like this, but this is usually where you would like put the nicknames of your Pokemon and like a personality trait of them. Fun little thing if you want to look at that. Otherwise, it'll also shows the records and everything. Draft board. This will be everything of what's left up. So this will be what you look at for free agency, which we'll get to. But you see what mons are going to be drafted and what mons are not drafted already. Anything highlighted in red is going to be taken. Anything in white is available. Moving on to the tools. So the tools tab is a really handy dandy tab. If you're looking for a certain thing, so hazard removal in your Abyssman defog, or if a mon has another form of hazard removal, you can also see that over here laid out. See their point costs, everything from top to bottom. Same thing with field effects, weather setters, terrain setters, tool screens, trick room, and hazards themselves. The plethora of mons, I get all of them. You can see which ones are drafted over here as well. Same thing follows. Next up, we have standings. It's going to be different from dock to dock, obviously, because you have a different amount of people in each division. But from across the board, except for I believe in deep end, I believe it's going to be top 8 makes playoffs. So you'll see that laid out there. You also see like differential. If there's differential in your chosen format, and the record, a win streak or not, lose streak, coach and team for standings there. Pretty self-explanatory. Schedule. This is where you can find your schedule. So you'll see who you're facing week to week, and you can just DM the person on Discord or reach out to them in the Gen chat, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. And schedule out your match. You see the start date of the week of when you're supposed to play your match. When a penalty gets applied. So say you reach out to the person and they don't respond, then a penalty will be applied. I don't remember the exact penalty. I think we're reworking that a little bit. And then if the match isn't played, either like by whoever's fault it is, you guys can't get the match played, then a forced FF will be applied. And then you can see that scales all the way down for each week. Playoffs. This will be the playoff board. Obviously, this will come into fruition at the end of week 8, and you will see who plays who. You check the playoff board here, the prize winnings, and yeah, pretty self-explanatory. And I believe that's it for this stock. Yes, so moving on to this stock. So this could be a draft helper. This is like a really important tool and really useful tool for planning your draft. So you can look here. Looks a bit confusing at first, but I promise it's really simple. We put in our first mon. We say, for example, we want to pick Great Tusk. If you want to look at it real quick, instead of going back and forth between 2 different tabs up here, we do have the power rankings. So this is just to show all of the mons and what their points are worth. So you can come over here and you can grab this doc, obviously from the, I hate this so much. You're going to skip that. I do not like that at all. You can look over in the doc section of the Discord. You can grab this. You can make a copy of this because you're not going to be able to type in this exact one. But something that you can do is obviously, take note of which mons are which points. Come over to Team Planner. And then you can put in, Great Tusk if you think that you can grab Great Tusk. And then Ugrabon Wellspring for second pick. Or Golden Go, say for example, Ugrabon Wellspring, it's a little bit loud, sorry, I'm just gonna turn that down a bit. Say Ugrabon Wellspring gets drafted, then you say, okay, shoot, that sucks, I'm gonna move on to my second plan B. I'm gonna go with Golden Go now, and then you follow your Golden Go path, etc. Obviously you just hit this little check mark for if you plan for the Monterra. It tracks how many points you have all the way down until you run out of points. So it'll say 100 over here if it, or not 100, it'll say whatever remaining over here to fill out your, point to track how much points you're using. Same thing with Tools tab as before, pretty useful. And then over here we have the Roster Rater. So this is a real quick tool to kind of just check on your team and kind of evaluate it without asking anyone. Obviously, you can reach out to people and ask them, and like, hey, you know, what do you think about this team? But if you just want to kind of just, you know, look at it for yourself, you can come here, make sure to check this, and it's Terra. And when it's filled out, obviously it will have, you know, more numbers and populate better and look better. But you can see the weaknesses. This is like the defensive evaluation for how well your team handles a type. So this team right now looks like it's a little bit weak to ice. You can see that we have like 1-2 times the ice, and we have no resistances. And so that's how you read this. 0 times obviously is like an immunity. We have an immunity to electric. We have 1 that takes half damage in Ogerpon, and then we have 1-2 times weakness, which is Corviknight. Oh wait, no, it's Axorus. I lied. Don't even know my own type charting. It's crazy. Then you go to hazard evaluation. Also on the side here, you can use these things to like close and keep it neat or keep it open, however you prefer it. The options there for you. So next we have hazard evaluation. This shows you what you have access to, what your vulnerabilities are, and immunities, and what options you have for removal as well on hazard evaluation. It's pretty self-explanatory there. Speed evaluation. Up here, it'll show you the base stats, base speed stats of each of your mons, what their max speeds are. Give you the average speed, and then it'll give you a rating of like slow, really slow, fast, moderate, etc. And not every team has to be fast. Not every team has to be, you know, extremely slow or anything. It's really just to show you, you know, what type of playstyle your team is gonna elicit from their speed tiers. And you can see the breakdown over here of how many mons are going to be in. Well, this is for pivots actually specifically, but this will show you like pivot moves, like U-turn, volt switch, flip turn, etc. And this shows you the speed tiers of your pivots because they're slow and fast pivots, etc. And then last thing we have the offensive evaluation, how hard each of your moves hit with the base attacking stat. So Haxorus we have a dragon type. Haxorus is base 147 attack, so it shows that as the highest stat for your dragon right there. Fighting 131, it's Great Tusk right there, and you can pretty much read it all the way down. This also shows, you know, physical special power split for your team. You don't want to lean all the way into one, but even if it's something like 40-60 or, you know, even like 70-30, it's not that bad. You can make it work. So this is just a, you know, show for people that really want like a balanced spread on that type of thing. But yeah, and that's the draft helper. Really important tool. That's the main.
Real quick,
that's the main part of it.
Rex.
Go for it.
Back in the roster editor, just make sure you show them how to change paths.
Mm-hmm.
At the top left, just so they understand how to change paths.
Oh, I forgot the paths. My bad. I'm so silly. So as I was explaining before, like say Ogerpon Wellspring got you know, picked up, we can go to our 1v1 path, which was just showing over here. We have 1B, and then we go to 1. So we can go back over here, 1v1, and switch it to this, and say, oh, I don't want Haxorus with this team. I can go over here and go to 1E, and then it would pick up the Gyarados that I have listed next to it. And that is how you would switch for the roster rater and look at the different teams. You have a plethora to kind of plan out and go crazy if you want to. So there's that. Thank you, Mark. I forgot about that. You take notes for each one. You have, you know, the same thing, same system over here. Marking Terra captains and then taking notes for each one, and you can then come to a final decision on whichever team you want here. By roster, once you select a roster, it would show you, you know, just like stats about the roster and hazard setting, hazard removal, just like all the moves list that it gets of each of these moves, which is really useful. And I believe that is the draft helper, because all this other stuff is just back-end stuff. So yeah, that's the draft helper. Really, really useful tool. Next up we have, this is going to be what you would do on draft day for the draft doc. This doc, we're going to work with a bot. We're going to attempt to work with a bot. So this might change, or this will actually, probably will change what you do here. So for now, honestly, it isn't that important. Just know that on draft day, when push comes to shove, power rankings are here, and you can look through, see, you know, what mons are taken, what mons aren't taken. Same rules apply. You know, white is available, red is taken, and then you would come to the D input, and then wherever your team acronym would be, say I'm Cash, I would just come here and I would just type in a mon's name. I'll just type in like Great Tusk. If it's not taken, then I can go ahead and I can just take it. I know it's taken up here, but whatever. And then it would put it in for me. And then this is just a shit box. You can just type whatever in, post memes, see cards as bad mouth I replay, etc. So there's that. Tools, same thing over here. And that's just what you would look at for draft day. Like I said, this process is probably going to change, but we'll have more information for you as that day comes forward. So next, we wanted to show you guys what it looks like using the prep doc and how you would look, or how you look to go about prepping a match. So once you have your team, you know, all made out and ready, we're using the Season 6 one for now, because Season 7 one is currently being built. So the first thing that's going to happen, though, is as soon as you open the doc and make a copy, you're going to come here. These are the instructions. Pretty much TLDR, keep it short and simple. You're going to pick your team. I'm Boss Merrill. And obviously you can also see your divisions icon there, making sure you're on the right one. So then you can go to my roster. This was my Season 6 roster. You can see your team's abilities. You can see your team in general. You can kind of like ignore the position of the mons for now. But we'll have a tab showing you all of this good juicy stat stuff here. And then this is week by week, the main page of what you're going to look for, you're going to look at. This is going to be, I don't want to look at this matchup, this makes me sad. We'll look at, I'll look at this one. No shade sealed. So, you can see the speed tiers here, your highest mon versus their highest mon, etc., and see, and match up and see, what their speed tiers look like versus your mons, and what their mons can Terra into. This is going to change. We have open Terra now, so this will probably just mark down like what mons can Terra and what mons can't Terra. Going from there on forward. And then we have a bunch of extra tools down here for you guys to use. So stat breakdowns, it shows kind of like what their highest stats are, their base stat total, and also typing everything. And close that. And go down to type advantages. This shows the defensive evaluation for your team, shows what your team is good and bad into. So you can see that my team in general looks like we're pretty bad to ice, and I can look at the opponent's team and say, they don't really have any ice types. But maybe, you know, I can look and see that he wants to Terra this and thing to Terra ice, and then blow my head off with it. So I can, you know, naturally take that into account. And then I can also look and say, oh, my team's like pretty good to electric types. He's probably not gonna look to volt switch around or bring Thunderbolt unless he hit Thunderbolt unless he really make sure that he can land a good Thunderbolt on my electric weak guys, pretty much. And then for the offensive evaluation, it says green equals click attack, red do not click attack. Obviously, you can bring, you know, like a bug type move, saying you don't, you know, it's not saying you don't click the attack ever, but in most cases, it's probably just not a good click, as the opponent is strong into them. Just as I'm strong into electric, he's strong into poison, and you can handle most poison type moves. So there's that. Moving on, we have the speed comparison tool. So this speed comparison, it can show up to 2 different types of speed comparison. The ones I like to use are literally actually just laid out right here. The 2 that I use, firstly I look at like my highest speed mons. So we can look at like Darkrai versus Torn T here. You can see that Tornadus T is just slightly below Darkrai. So then I can look at max speed. So I can infer from that you know, my opponent's Darkrai is probably going to bring enough speed to just outspeed my Tornadus T. And then I can infer from that and say, okay, if I don't need 375 speed on Tornadus T, then I can go and get just enough speed for a max speed Grafaiai or whatever the case may be. Also for choice scarfs, or like if Dragon Dances or any, you know, boosting of speed, you can come here and just click on and see what their speed boost looks like afterwards. And obviously you can change it to neutral nature, negative nature, positive nature, and how many EVs they would have in it as well. So really useful tool. Well, all of it's useful. I'm going to keep saying that, though, for whatever reason. But yeah. Anyways, next over here you can see some useful moves for utility. Stealth rocks, spikes, what each team has access to. Priority. Damn. What each team has for priority. Need a lot of priority, and I had nothing. Honestly, wow, crazy. And you can take notes down here at the bottom as well, if you wish to. So there's that. Next up, we can go over here to moves and abilities. Just some other, pretty much from the same thing at the bottom here from matchups. Just useful utility moves. What you and your opponent could have that they could bring to the game. Hazard setting, hazard removal, recovery, etc. Really good things to look at. And then specifics. So for the match, when you go into the match, if you want to use this tool, it's a very handy tool for people, especially new to draft. When you load into the match and you see your opponent's 6 versus your 6, you can check off on this side, like what mons are versus which mons. So say for example, I brought these 6, but for some reason he didn't bring Corviknight and he brought Araquanid instead. I can go ahead and check that off. And then I can look at the stat breakdown, just I had previously on the page before. Type advantages, it shows you, what moves to click for that 6 specifically into your 6. And then you can also look at the speed things here and also compare speeds over here. Just speed compare.
That's back end stuff, yeah.
Okay, well, ignore that. Cool. So, that's for the prep doc. So on, when you're going to go play your opponent in a match, you can obviously go over to Team Builder if you want to. You can open up just a draft folder, and then if you make a new team under a draft format folder, you can just add Pokemon, because this format affects what Pokemon are in the tab. So you can add Pokemon, and then add your Pokemon with Great Tusk. I have Ogerpon, Wellspring, etc. Just going through, build your team, items, abilities, moves, stats, etc. Customize those things, and then have your team ready for the match that you're going to play. So you can either find your opponent 2 ways. If you're friends with them, you can head over here and just hide your mark, click on them, and then click challenge. Or if you go to find a user, you can type in, you can ask them for their username, and you can type in, I'm not going to pretend I know, I saw your name, and find the user, and then the same little menu would pop up, this menu right here, and you can challenge them. So we can just give it to it real quick, and I'm just going to challenge Mark with something real quick, just to show you that you want to make sure you click Terra Type Preview. Since it is Open Terra, we are playing with Terra Type Preview, and you can also, this doesn't really matter because you post the link in the live match for people to watch, for people to come join and watch. Or if you just want to accept that real quick. I cleared my cache, so all my settings are reset. My bad for that. Jump scare. So I forfeited. I didn't mean to forfeit. Okay. And then you want to make sure that as soon as the match ends, you come right here. This is the first button you want to press before anything else. You want, after you celebrate or cry, whatever, whichever one you end up doing, you want to make sure that you press upload or share replay, because you only have 15 minutes after the game is done to press this button and grab the link so that you can copy that link, so that we can grab stats, and also just have the replay for proof and for people to rewatch it, etc. So the second thing you want to do after that is you want to download the replay. You can download this here, and then we have our own website, and you're gonna go here. Make sure you select your division, select the week that you're in, select the game. Well, there's gonna be one game, for at least for singles, and then after that, you're gonna go to browse, and you would just put the file in. It's gonna, just pull up the mons. Make sure you select your coach. So obviously this is me. This would be Jamark, and then you just press save. Well, it's not gonna work because what should I call it? This is already saved actually, but this is just to double check the mons and make sure that you're correct. Oh, Well, Temple, you got some work on, bro. Uh, to clear that out. But another thing that I wanted to mention, now that we're done with all of the docs and functionalities, was there anything else I forgot over here? I don't think so.
Nope.
No.
I think you're good.
Okay, cool. So, was the Pokemon Showdown Calculator. This thing, you may have noticed that I also have this thing, but honestly, probably not good to use this, I'm not gonna lie. This thing, the Pokemon Showdown Calculator, is really useful for prepping in general, and also just mid-match. There's a plethora of things you can use this thing for. Say mid-match, we'll go back to the Tornadus T versus Darkrai thing. We'll just take a blank set for Tornadus T, and then Darkrai. Let's say that my Tornadus T moved before his Darkrai. I can then infer that maybe, his Darkrai is at max speed, or, there's something like he has trick like Iron Ball. There's like a million different things, but either way, I would
Modest.
get for, yeah, it could be modest. It could be modest nature. That's a very good point. So it would hit harder, but it would just be a little bit slower. There's like a million different things, but you want to get really familiar with the calculator, as it's like you don't want to like sit there and calculate every possible move, every possible turn. But just getting information and using it is like very useful. It's going to help you throughout the battle, and it's going to help you become a better player overall. Just like thinking about special case things, or even sitting in the prep when you're sitting down the prep for your match, and you want to look at how much a move does. You can see, okay, if I have 16 special attack EVs and I hit Darkrai, I can maybe knock him out after 2 times. If I want to put a little bit more, 200, then I guarantee knock him out after 2 times of hitting Bleak Wind Storm, etc. Stuff like that. Another obviously good useful resource is our YouTube channel. Cards, especially if you go under playlist, has the Draft League basics, and he just has amazing stuff that I wish that I had when I started Draft League. I'll tell you that much. Cards is a beast. He's pumping out this content, and yeah, that's one thing. There are also a couple of YouTubers, if you look around. PokeAim, for example, actually is a really good, just like friendly overall YouTuber for like anything Pokemon. To be honest, the guy's a beast. For VGC, obviously there's Wolfie. I don't think Wolfie doesn't do drafts or anything like that, but you can get like basic draft concepts or basic VGC concepts from Wolfie. Everyone knows Wolfie, but PokeAim's a good draft YouTuber to watch. Another one, like the high tier guys, like King L5. He does a bunch of like Draft League stuff, and everything. You gotta just like type in YouTube, just explore like draft and Pokemon LG Albina. You got a bunch of them, and it's all good, useful content to help you kind of like ease your way in. It's gonna take a lot, obviously, to kind of like, I don't know, catch up and get good, but it's fun, and you're also with other people in your division that are also around, so you're similar skill level. So you kind of think of it and take the journey together, and you have anyone in a Discord to ask for any tips, advice, anything, etc. DMs are always open. People are super duper friendly. Anyone from the higher tier leagues, especially, anyone would help you out. So, yeah. Other than that, does anyone have any questions? Going once?
I had one question. I joined a little late. I didn't get to see where the first stock was, like the one that had the power rankings that would get read as Pokemon were drafted.
Sure. So that's okay. All the docs are going to be under the important tab in #docs. So if you go to channels and roles, just make sure that under the browse channels tab, you have pretty much like everything under important that you're going to have access to. So you just press like follow category, and then it will be under the docs tab. We're going to make sure to have the season 7 docs tab filled out and updated with everything by the time it comes around for draft. Ideally, so Sunday of this week. And here for the draft doc, you'll see That'd be probably going to draft doc. So like here, you would go to power rankings, and then you would see which mons in red are drafted already, and then which mons in white are still available for you to be picked. That's where you would see that.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Of course. Any other questions? Let me see the chat of people. Okay. Going once. Going twice. Sold. All right. That's that. Thank you guys for watching.
Wait, I have a question. I have a question.
Oh, sorry. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Davin, when are you finally going to win a season?
All right, man. Thank you guys for watching.
Yo, good question. Good question.
Thank you guys for watching, man. And all that. Yeah, bye.